is it that we're not highlighting it enough? You know what I'm saying? Like there are people that's doing it, but like a lot of what's mainstream are the people that aren't. So we need to like let's start highlighting that, you know what, hey, this brother, I helped this brother, and you know, I'ma shout him out. This sister helped this sister. We need to do that more because we're doing it in the shadows.
Yeah.
We doing it underground, but it's like when we're promoting ourselves, we're promoting things, it's like, oh well, the negative of people. So then we think that's what we're doing. But, you know, it's like, how do we do that? I think maybe is the question. How do we start to really bring out there are people that are benefiting from others and they're grateful for it and they're showing it instead of, oh, how can I tear this person down because that gets views or that, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we do that when we're doing it?
I think it's cyclical. I think there's nothing new under the sun. I think it's the same in every era of civilization. I think, you know what I mean? I think it just evolves. I think the issue just evolves with the times, but I don't think that this is an issue that's anything new. That's how there are classes in society, you know. I just think you have the haves and you have the have-nots, and people do gatekeep, and you know, the pauper cannot go kick it at the club in the kingdom. That's just how it is, and that's by birthright. I'm gonna take you deep real quick because we're having a conversation that has been had, the same conversation over and over, and we never come to a solution, and we probably never will because this is the cycle of life. So I feel like the focus needs to be more on where the hell do you fit in the equations, you know, and if your relation to your class, as it were, in society is by birthright, then common sense tells me that this is the lane that I'm going to probably be in for my life, unless I marry or connect some kind of way to someone who's in another class. Unless it's just my destiny. We have to think these things through with common sense. You know what I'm saying? So if we use that level of common sense, then it will prompt us to strive for things that are tangibly attainable in our lives, you know. And then as you learn and grow, you the world opens up, and then you reach for whatever is, you know, you want to reach for. Otherwise, those of us who understand how energy works and how manifestation works, that's a different lane. That's a different realm of evolution through life, right? Because now you're able to create, you know, from your mind and from your heart, and you're understanding how to draw people, places, things, experiences to yourself, and your life grows into a place where you are rich and famous, or you are public, and you have these big experiences and these big lives, and you have money and big life situations. So the people that attract these types of things have these types of thoughts and these types of conversations that attract these types of experiences. But the people who struggle through life and is wondering why people is gatekeeping and won't they boom boom boom, it's because they keep having the conversation of wondering why is it like that. Well, this is why.
Attract people just like them.
I hope y'all was keeping up with
I know
y'all get it.
She just went on the wumpy. Those people gonna track the same wumpy.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
true.
it's scientific. Like, you know, when we was in science class in middle school, we were like, we're never gonna use this shit. Why are we learning this? You know, but now in a commonsensical kind of way, if you apply it to how you journey through life, it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So, kids, read your books and eat your Wheaties, because it pays to be smart.
It drew a question in my mind, like, what are the real societal classes? Like, not the rich, the upper middle class, lower middle class, and then the poor. Like, what about the creatives, the creators? You have the business minded, maybe. I'm probably not titling these right. The self-aware.
I think it could be different list. You know what I'm saying? Like Red brought it up, the rich. You can measure it by monetary ways. You can measure it, you can actually have your list if you want to measure it by spiritual aspect. You can have a list that you measuring by mental
educational
aspect.
class.
Yeah, educational class. So therefore there's different classes, different lists, you know what I'm saying? But it still applies to every one of them. Because if you are here and you're seeking here, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna attract here. But if you here in any of those, you know what I'm saying, and you stay there, you're gonna attract there. How does the natural order in the context of gender roles rewind tape, how does the natural order in the context of gender roles and family dynamics show up in relationship, affect relationship?
Read it again, please.
How does the natural order in the context of gender roles and family dynamics show up in relationship? Jay?
Well, that's a good question, man. I the first thing I thought about when I read that question was evolution. The gender roles have evolved today. We have those scenarios where it's like 50-50 in a family context. We have those classic roles, right, where the man leads, and although the woman in the relationship, she's actually the one making things happen, right, but the man is in the forefront. We have those family dynamics now where there are multiple women in the home, or there are multiple men in the home without women or without men, and so there's a leader in that aspect, right? It's about I think it's about that person who takes the forefront, who takes the lead in there. But those dynamics have changed today. It's not the classic look, the way it used to be, say, 1950s or 1930s, where the man was responsible for everything. In some cases, the woman didn't even speak. The man spoke for the woman and the family. And
Damn
so,
sure ain't like that today.
No, it's definitely different today. It's definitely different. So it just depends on like what your situation is, right? Me, even when I was married, my situation was more of a 50-50, but I also played the leader because I was the man, right? I took a brunt of the hard work, right? We get our hands dirty, we fix the cars, we cut the grass, we make sure the electric and the mortgage is paid, those kinds of things. The guys, we take on those large responsibilities, and I hate to say it, but they often go without gratitude whatsoever. It's like we're supposed to do that, right?
But then I'm hearing all of this, but you know what I'm saying? One thing I'm not hearing is situations to where certain genders are forced into a gender role.
Okay.
Bird?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I going back to what Jay said, I think it's based on what your understanding of it is going in. And a lot of times, to your point, some people are forced into it, and they may have their own mindset, or may they have their own desire of, like, say a woman, you're supposed to submit, and you're supposed to go, do whatever this man says. And if this man doing some stuff that don't make sense for the family, how am I supposed to just submit to that? What is the expectation when we're gonna fail? Because I have to say, I have to do what this man doing, and he doesn't know how to manage money, and he doesn't know how to manage it. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do I do that? Or vice versa, where the woman's like, well, I do know all of these things, but I'm not going to do that. How do you get to the point where we're together? Like, we're unified. Communication, right? And a lot of people don't want to do that because I'm supposed to be. It's that supposed to be word. I'm supposed to know, and I'm supposed. It's like, well, what? That's not always true. And I think the problem is we have these 10 rules of relationship or 5 rules of relationship, and it has to be that way. And to your point, things have changed. But you have people that have this old way ingrained in them based on how they were raised or environments they're in or organizations they're a part of. Exactly. And it's like, are we okay to step outside of that? Do we want to face the ridicule we'll get from the people that we admire because they say, well, you're supposed to do is mom and dad. Mom says mom and dad were this way, so I'm supposed to be how mom and dad was, but I'm not mom and dad.
supposed to. It's nothing but a fabrication of a false reality.
This generator from a post on Red January, she had replied to somebody's post, and she really went really deep and it literally opened my eyes to something. That's why I pulled this from there. You know what I'm saying? Red.
I feel like in regard to gender roles, I feel like we're approaching the conversation all wrong to begin with.